This is a huge group. I think we've used up all the chairs that we have here. Thank you. I'm Audrey Winkler. This is my 4th month here. 2 as your interim and 2 as your executive director. I'm thrilled to be here to present an entire afternoon of get to know your staff at JESPY, because that's what this is about today. I do want to acknowledge our wonderful success story. Shaynon Brand is here, and thank you, Shaynon. Videographer and photographer. So I wanted to let you know, those of your family and friends who could not be here today, this video will be on YouTube. We have our own JESPY YouTube channel. So you can let your family and friends know, and we certainly have families that live elsewhere in the country that can be here today. So this YouTube channel would be really wonderful. I love it here for many reasons, and I wanted to give you the top 2. Of course, it's the clients. I absolutely love working with the clients. And the second is working with a terrific team. You're going to hear from all of the management team here today. We're all going to spend a few minutes talking to you about successes and what we're doing and let you know what our future plans are. And I wanted to start out with a success story to see if it resonates with any of you. We have a story of Francine, and when she came to us, she was in her early 20s, very shy and quiet. She had a passion for crafts, but she was not able to cross the street. She struggled with everyday tasks. She could make sandwiches, but she couldn't cook. In our initial conversations with her aunt, she expressed many of the feelings that I'm sure you all have experienced. What will happen to my family member? And like so many of you, after working with us, those worries and stressors started to fade. So within a year of being here, she was able to still paint and make sandwiches, but she also budgets her money. She goes to the grocery store. She walks all over town to do errands. She has a paid job she loves. So how many of you have seen some of those type of changes in your family member? Anybody? Good, that's great, thank you. So our team is here to speak to you today regarding the specifics of each and every department here at JESPY, and how our programs have allowed for Francine's success and certainly many, many others. And I'm going to share information with you about the future of JESPY. I have met so many of you over the past few months, and I think I'm pretty clear about the common thread for all of you, that your wish, goal, and dream is that when you are no longer here, you want to be sure that your child is supported by their JESPY communities. So you want to ensure that JESPY will be here for many years to come to provide a supportive community. We want that also. We'll be celebrating our 40th year soon, and we want to be around for another 40 years. So maybe we'll call that celebration 40 plus 40. But we want your child to age in place. We want them to live, work, socialize, and maintain their friendships in the community they love. In order for us to program this long-term vision, we need to focus on sustainability, which means our ability to continue to support the whole host of programs that we currently offer. As you know, my 2 overall priorities for my leadership here have been the same as when I started 4 months ago. Number 1 is improving the service and care for our clients. And number 2 is ensuring that JESPY is sustainable well into the future. And that's the area I really want to talk about today. The sustainability of JESPY into the future. You're going to hear today of our initiatives to make sure we're not only effective, but incredibly efficient in how we spend our money. On the staff end, we've spent quite a bit of time doing a deep dive into our program operations to assess just what it costs us to do business. And additional operating revenue is a must. It's a reality of keeping us a thriving organization. You will hear today how we're reviewing each and every vendor contract, how we're assessing providers to help us save money, money that we can now put towards programs for our clients. But cutting expenses is only one of the pieces to creating a sustainable model. To continue in the short term, we also have to increase revenue from other sources. Cutting expenses without increasing revenue is not a sustainable model. Our first priority is to build the operating support needed to develop 21st century infrastructure, to address and manage the imminent DDD fee-for-service model. The key to our success is to develop additional revenue sources to offset the reduction in revenue from the state. Over our many years, we've achieved many successes, just like Feinstein had, and we want to make sure that the community we have developed for our clients continues into the future. So we're working to develop a variety of revenue sources. We're applying for grants from foundations and corporations. And although that may sound like the best answer to our revenue challenges, it isn't. So all the nonprofit fundraising research that I've looked at over the last 5 to 7 years have said that 70% of revenue for nonprofits comes from individual gifts. Only 15% of revenue from foundation grants and 5% from corporate donations. So it's not to say we're not going after all these sources. We are. As a matter of fact, next week we have 3 grant applications going out the door. But clearly the most effective revenue stream is individual gifts. That's what's going to make JESPY sustainable. And you can help us with these individual gifts. In the near term, we're excited to have all of you help with a wide variety of fundraisers. And I wanted to tell you about one that a wonderful volunteer, Maria, is here, whose son's here at JESPY. So she's going to help talk about it afterwards. But we're hosting this Weekend of 100 celebrations in November. We would like you to reach out to your friends and family to widen and broaden the range of support, so that those family and friends that support you and your child's successes can come to this event. We already have a host who already invited 30 of her guests for a wine and cheese evening. You can host any type of event during this weekend and help us bring in individual gifts. We also have some lovely parents who are unable to host an event, but they gave us a very large donation as if they would have been able to. They have another event going on that weekend, but that was really very lovely. You have the power to make a difference. We're really excited to get you involved. And as I mentioned, Maria's on one of our chairs of this event. She'd be so happy to talk to you about hosting an event for your family and friends. We'll certainly come to your parties and your events, and we'll talk a little bit about JESPY to your guests. And we're hoping that we can raise lots of money from that. So there are additional ways that you can be part of creating a legacy for your children and your family members. Years ago, one of our founding families set up an endowment fund. As you know, endowments are a vital tool to help us invest in our future. We are talking about our future. Endowments are a permanent investment reserve. And yes, in the future, as the endowment grows, we may be able to benefit from the interest it gains. And I have to say, thank goodness we have this, because we've had some challenges over the last year, and the endowment has been incredibly helpful. But the real purpose of an endowment is to build principle. So I'm also asking you that late in November, when we send out our annual gift requests, please consider sending in a donation that will go towards our endowment fund. This truly is the vehicle to invest in our future. And in another act of generosity from our founding family, they have put forward a matching challenge. So all contributions up to $25,000 will be matched, and that means your contribution will provide a double impact for JESPY, which is really fabulous. So we have the potential right now to raise over $100,000 for our endowment fund, which is really part of our legacy to be around for the next 40 years. As you can imagine, there's other sources of revenue that we're actually looking at, but I want to just tell you about one more. As you can imagine, opening I got an envelope from an attorney last week, and as you can imagine, in my position, opening envelopes from attorneys, that can cause some bit of anxiety. However, this one was really a lovely surprise, because this attorney was representing a mom of a former JESPY client, and she included us in her will, which was really lovely. So planned giving, isn't that nice? So planned giving is also another way to help us to invest in your child's future. All of the initiatives I've spoken about will make a huge difference in our long-term sustainability and be part of the legacy that you leave for your child. We want this, we would love for you to be on this team to help us to make it happen. Thank you. Before I bring on the staff, because they're absolutely terrific and you're going to love hearing from every one of them, I have a couple of really quick announcements. One is that we will be taking questions after our full presentation, so that will conclude with comments from our board president, Ilene Cratz. We'll not be entertaining any questions or comments regarding specific clients, so please understand we abide by HIPAA regulations. It's a very stringent law that we need to abide by. So we will not be able to discuss any particular client or situation in the context of this public meeting. The third thing I wanted to mention was communication. We've made great progress on our new website, and I know you'll agree that we've improved communications. Many of you have said to me, just send more. I think we're sending too much, but you keep saying send more newsletters, more emails. So I wanted to introduce you with Diane Tobing. Diane Tobing is our communications guru. She has a more formal title, but that's what we call her, our communications guru, and she's really gotten to know the organization over the past 4 months, and you'll see that as she writes and the texts that are in the website when we launch really shows you the depth of JESPY. And lastly, I want to introduce Sandy Sizlowski. Where's Sandy? She's our administrative manager. Really the gatekeeper at 102, so if any of you have any questions. And also after the meeting we have a lot of sign-up sheets and some information. So I wanted to begin, I don't want to talk too long, so I wanted to begin by having you hear from our first speaker this afternoon, and that's Allison Sanchez, our transition coordinator.
Well, most of you know me. My name is Allison Sanchez, and I'm excited to share with you my latest role as transition coordinator. JESPY is excited to be expanding its transitional services by reaching out to surrounding communities and schools to cultivate new relationships with the 18 to 21-year-old population. Thanks in part to referrals from parents and board members, we've already begun to do this by attending transition expos, family forums, and post-secondary schools like Ruggerio. So what are transitional services? Learning daily living skills such as cooking, budgeting, and travel training. Identifying pre-vocational skills in order to capture and explore interests while giving support and guidance to ensure a positive experience. Our goal is to provide the support and skill set needed for successful transition to independent community living. So why this population? As JESPY continues to expand its services, so does the age group and the need to provide transitional services at an earlier age to help prepare them for independent living. JESPY started doing this a few years ago, back when I was in the day program, and an individual that comes to mind is someone who started attending our day program to get his social needs met while simultaneously beginning county college. Not only did we provide him the social needs of the day program, but we also provided him one-on-one support in the college setting to make his experience a positive one. Throughout his years, he also began receiving other services such as clinical, recreation, and cultural arts. Currently, he's going for his 4-year degree bachelor's degree, and we couldn't be more proud of the full circle he has come. It's an example like this that puts into motion a plan for the bigger picture, which leads me to my next question. How do we plan to do this? Working together with other JESPY departments, such as the Work Readiness and Employment Engagement, Clinical and Day Program, our goal is to make JESPY a continuum for independent community living by providing the support to these young individuals that instills confidence and the training to learn the skills needed to live independently. But not only that, we're thinking of the future and the expansion of these services. And so we've already begun to look into grant funding that would provide a larger space and tools to continue our vision. So thank you for thinking of, helping be a part of that as well. Thank you, and I don't know who's next. Next, I believe is Frank.
I'm going to speak about the intake process, so it'll be rather boring, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. As Allison said, we get referrals from schools, from the private school system. We also get referrals, of course, from DVD, DVR, word of mouth, and most of all, David Finkelstein. The initial calls about the program come to me. Some families are interested in our residential program, the residence and the outline program, the program as a whole, and some are interested in specific services, our employment services, rec, or day program, and they continue living at home. In that initial phone call, I explain the program, and if they're interested, and if we feel that it's a potential match, I send out an intake package with brochures, applications, and financial info. Families are asked to look through the package and then call back if they're interested to set up an interview. The interview process breaks out into two general areas. If someone is interested in the entire program, then the initial interview is with the client, with me, and with Pat, who you'll be hearing from soon, who's the residential supervisor and a member of the clinical department. We'll interview them, and if they appear to be a potential candidate, then at that point the family will submit an application with a fee, and we'll gather all of the supporting documentation from schools, psychiatric reports, all different kinds of things, which will then be uploaded into our foothold system, which is our computer system. That's a work in process, uploading the stuff, but eventually that'll be done. All that material then goes to the intake committee, and who reviews the information, and if there's agreement that the client should be considered, an orientation is set up. Now before the orientation, if someone is only interested in parts of the program, then the initial interview is held with me and the supervisor of the particular department and a member of the clinical department as well. If appropriate, the nurse will also be a part of the interview team. If the individual appears to be appropriate, the family will then complete the application with the fee and provide all the supporting documentation. That will be looked over by the intake committee, and determination will be made as to whether to accept the client into that particular department. If they're coming for all of our stuff, residential and or out client, then there's the 3-day, 2-night orientation where the client is interviewed by all the different department heads. It gives the client also an opportunity to get to know the other clients here, see if they'd be comfortable here. We do assessments, life skills assessments, vocational testing, and testing for social interactions. All those reports are then uploaded to Foothold, and I will summarize all of the reports and make a recommendation, which is submitted for review by the intake committee. If there's an agreement, the letter is sent out to families and people can start. So just to let you know, generally I get about anywhere between 10 and 15 inquiries per week. There are different seasons, really. From January to May is the busy season. So there's generally more inquiries then. People are suddenly realizing that their child may be aging out into the community, so they get on it. We usually have about 5 to 10 interviews from that period. Pat, that's going to come up. 5 to 10 interviews. Right now, there's usually about 3 or 4 interviews. We've had 9 orientations from the beginning of January until now. We've had 5 new out clients since January, 2 new residents, 8 new day program clients, and numerous vocational clients. And that's that. Who's next?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erika Rusnak. I am the Day Program Coordinator at JESPY House. I'm very excited to be here today to share with you some of our programming and client success stories. So we're really excited to tell you that the day program continues to grow. We currently serve an average of 26 clients a day, including out clients, residents, and shared housing clients. We've also grown in terms of our clients who come from the surrounding communities, or what we call our community clients, to participate in the day program. The day program is also expanding in terms of the groups we facilitate. We offer 2 to 3 different groups an hour, and on average, 45 different groups a week, focusing on vocational and life skills, therapeutic interventions, as well as education and recreation. This variety of group offerings is important because it allows for flexibility and choice, and also encourages decision-making and increased independence. We also promote regular community inclusion. Clients volunteer at the food pantry and the community garden, and also enjoy visiting the South Orange Pool and Library. And we continue to establish and advance relationships with other organizations, such as the JCC, the Jewish Federation, and Creature Comforts. Clients also continue to benefit from involvement with students from Seton Hall, Rutgers, and Montclair State, who intern in a variety of capacities. We are particularly excited to announce that we are now offering a standalone full-day life skills program, 3 days a week. This assists community clients who typically live at home with their families and have had minimal exposure to daily living skills, to gain the basic skills needed to function at their highest level of independence and gain independent living readiness. The program includes education and discussion groups, hands-on learning, as well as weekly community integration through grocery shopping, eating out, walking groups, and visits to the library. Program goals and daily activities focus on kitchen and food safety, meal planning and food preparation, laundry and cleaning skills, budgeting skills and money management, community awareness, including collaborations with the South Orange Police, experiential vocational training, and travel training using New Jersey Transit. So, what was most important today is for me to highlight 2 success stories. So I'd like to highlight 2 specific clients, both of whom participated in our day program and life skills program. The first client I want to tell you about, when he first started at JESPY, he couldn't go out to the community independently. Couldn't cross the street, had to be with the staff at all times. So not only does he now go to the movies, the library, the gym, and out to eat all independently, he's living in his own apartment. We have another client who's currently in our life skills program. So when he started, he wanted nothing to do with food preparation. Microwaving all of his meals was working out just fine for him. And he would always respectfully decline our prompts to participate when we were cooking. So we encouraged him to observe, and one day checked in to see if he wanted to give it a try. He did, and has been participating in the cooking process since, even expanding his skills to include using the stove. The same client would refuse to sit with the group during lunch and socialize. With encouragement and a little coaching, he now regularly socializes with his friends. So I believe these two examples demonstrate the success of the program, as well as the exciting opportunities that lie ahead for our clients, especially as we envision continued collaborations with all JESPY departments, and in particular, the new transitions department, all of which will undoubtedly lead to cultivation of new opportunities for clients, as well as stronger partnerships within the community. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosalie Cespedes, and I am the Assistant Supervisor by Community-Based Support Systems. I'm sure you're most of all, if not all, aware of my colleague, Tara Roberts. She is the Community-Based Support Supervisor, who unfortunately could not be here today, but sends her regards. As of today, our department currently has a total of 124 clients, all of which are living within 15 department buildings and 6 different condos, all of which are very close within the vicinity of downtown South Orange. Our department assists our clients with case management, daily living skills, finding nearby apartments, and helping them integrate as independent individuals into the community. Currently, we have 18 case managers, which functions consist of helping clients with their budgets, scheduling appointments on a regular basis, balancing out their checkbooks, needs assessment, and bill payments. The case manager will spend anywhere between 2 to 4 hours a week, depending on the client's needs. Our daily living skills counselors help our clients by building skills. Skills that will teach them or help them to take care of their household, how to properly do their laundry, order groceries, create healthy meals, and or prepare them by themselves. Since our clients are so close to downtown South Orange, they have become an integral part of this community, to the extent that we have clients living, working, dining, recreating within our community. Well, one of our success stories consists of one of our clients who was trying to watch her weight, struggling with weight, always used to go to a particular coffee shop right here in the vicinity, used to ordering a skinny latte. One day, she goes into the coffee shop, but she doesn't order her skinny latte. She changes her order, and she wants a caramel macchiato instead. The barista, who is very familiar with our client, as within many of our community members, found it really odd and sold her the caramel macchiato, but immediately thereafter called our department. And, reported. Listen, so-and-so was here and happened to order a caramel macchiato. We just want to make sure that you're aware. We were appreciative, and we actually liked it because our client, thanks to her struggle, her willpower, lost the weight, and with the help of the community that is watching over her. This is the community that our clients are a part of. These are the people that we appreciate every year by holding a community appreciation dinner at Above, among other festive events that we do for our clients as well. We hold a Halloween party, we have a Valentine's Day party, other festivities that we celebrate to integrate the clients, the community, and all its members and make them be a part of each other. So with this note, I would like to end, and I would like to thank you all for giving us the time and the the opportunity to work with your loved ones and help them succeed in the best way possible. I hope it continues to be that way for many years to go. And with this, I present to you Ilene and Sherry.
Hi everyone, good afternoon, everybody, the whole JESPY community and family. My name is Sherry Scucci-Hamilton. I'm the Assistant Clinical Coordinator of the Clinical Behavioral Health Department. I just want to give you a little overview I'd like to give you a little overview of our department. We currently have one master's level special education teacher who's a CSW. We have 2 licensed clinical social workers, 2 master levels counselors. In addition, we now have a senior clinical consultant here. We have a clinical psychologist and 2 consulting psychiatrists, along with a recent collaboration we have started with a noted neuropsychologist here in the community. We provide one-on-one counseling, small group counseling, as well as couples counseling when we find a need present. We will be expanding our services in the near future to include family, parent, and sibling counseling in an effort to continue to provide the very best intervention and support for all the family and the family members here. We take a proactive approach to assess and problem solve. Therefore, working on social skills and executive functioning deficits are also an integral part of the clinical behavior service offered here at JESPY. And on a side note, we do have a handout for all the parents afterwards, explaining a little bit better what executive functioning is. The Clinical Behavioral Health Department at JESPY House focuses on the strength, interest, and talents of the clients while providing the appropriate interventions needed in their growth towards greater independence, as well as the desire to be happy, healthy, and productive members of our society. We currently serve approximately 85 of the clients here on a regular basis, with about 50% having a mental health diagnosis. We are also always available for all full-time JESPY clients in the event of any psychiatric crisis that occurs. I am going to turn it over now to Ilene Feinstein, who will be an integral part of the communication and dating and all other workshops that we're going to be starting very soon. So here she is, Ilene.
JESPY for 24 years and have worked in the field for many, many more. We have had numerous success stories within the clinical behavioral health department. We are currently working on transition services along with Allison and just had a great 2-part bullying workshop in conjunction with the recreation department. 65 clients attended. The increase in our clinical services over the years has led to a reduction in psychiatric hospitalizations. We have also partnered with the Bog Center at Rutgers University for both on- and off-site staff trainings in best practice as per DDD guidelines. In addition, we are developing more workshops and groups geared to improving our clients' social skills and executive functioning limitations, such as focusing attention, controlling emotions, setting priorities, managing time, planning activities, staying organized, and improving memory. Our first 3 workshops will be conflict resolution, communication skills, and friendships, roommates, and dating. Based on the response of the participants, this will lead to more in-depth, smaller groups, which will focus on specific aspects of these topics. These smaller groups are outside of our general fee structure, and we'll be glad to further discuss them with you. There are sign-up sheets over this table, and we ask you to please sign up if interested. Now I would like to introduce you to our senior clinical consultant, Tobing.
afternoon, everybody. I'm certainly glad to be here today. You've already met my better half, Diane Tobing, who's Communications Director. I've been here a short period of time, and it's been very gratifying getting to know everybody and to really understand how important JESPY is. I oversee the clinical functions of JESPY, but it's not just limited to the clinic, but we come from the philosophy and the background that clinical informs all programs, so that when we have clients who are resistant or reluctant, we try to work through some of that resistance to help them reach their full potential. Certainly our goal is to maximize their ability to live independently in the community, and you've heard several of the success stories that programs have already reported on. As I came in this afternoon, a few moments before, one of our JESPY clients, a long-term client, approached me with a big smile on her face and thanked us. Why did she thank us? Because she just came back from a 2-week hospitalization. And she was certainly gratified by the fact that she was feeling significantly better, that the issues that had placed her in the hospital had now been successfully put under control, but she knew that she could not have achieved that without the intervention of our JESPY staff. That's an example of what JESPY does and how we continue to function. But we're challenged by a significant number of new issues that are very much outside of the South Orange community that affect the world entirely, but affect the delivery of services to the developmentally disabled. We're working very closely with the state government because the state is highly regulating these services. So we are accountable to the state when we talk about our electronic health record. That's because it's something that's been imposed upon us by the federal government. They're monitoring what goes on, what takes place, and really what they're looking for is best practices. So we're not in opposition to that because certainly we want what's best for our clients. But we have to accept the fact that many of our clients, in addition to their developmental disability, also face significant psychiatric and emotional stressors. And it's our role in order to maximize their capacity to help them overcome what those are about. Many of our staff are receiving significant amounts of training, as mentioned through the Bog Center, but also we encourage them to participate in outside trainings that are going to enhance their skills in what they're able to accomplish on behalf of your family member. Several of our staff are enrolled in advanced academic training as far as getting their master's and their bachelor's degree. We're revamping our clinical services because as new clients are brought into the system, we're assigning to them a clinician who will follow them for the first 6 months. We see their initial entry into JESPY as part of an extended evaluation. We know we try to get as much material and information at the onset, but we always know that it takes a while to get used to who the client is, find out what the client really wants, what the client really needs. So for that purpose, we've assigned them to stay in the resident for the long-term clients for a 6-month period in order we can really focus on the issues. We're developing, as Ilene mentioned, several clinical groups based on certain items and issues that our clients have identified. One of the big success stories that we've had is Girls' Night Out. I don't know if there's anybody here who's participated in that. That created a lot of excitement. It was an opportunity for the female contingent of JESPY to really come together and really talk about issues that are important to them. They had fun, and they want more of that. As a result, I've been called upon to develop the Boys' Night Out. So I've been meeting with several of the male staff of the male persuasion, and we're going to call a meeting very shortly in order to bring together interested fellas who want to talk about the same things. And what are they focusing on? They're talking about hygiene. They're talking about social relationships, how they can interact at work sites. Some are very concrete, some are very basic, but they're all important. So this is what we're moving towards. We continue to have clients who see our clinicians individually, but we're looking to shorten those episodes because we understand that many times clients need a break, they need to graduate from treatment, they need a rest, and they need to live out in the world what's going on. So we're very much encouraging that. You guys, as family members, are very important components of what this process is about. We count on you to collaborate with us in a very professional and respectful way, and we are slowly launching our annual client evaluation process where all of the participants in terms of the program, in terms of the family, come together to discuss what the future needs are of your client. But it's a very exciting time, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm going to introduce Mitch.
Good afternoon. It's really nice to be here. Okay. It's really nice to be here. First of all, healthy and happy New Year to everyone here. It's a very festive time in the Jewish holiday season. It's really nice to be spending an afternoon with so many familiar faces. Most of you know me in my role here at JESPY as overseeing entitlements for a number of years now. Entitlements that range from Social Security to dealing with a lot of our DDD issues. The DDD issues are really at the top of our list right now, as Audrey mentioned, and as Rob mentioned as well. A lot of regulations have been coming down from the state of New Jersey, as mandated by the federal government, because we're moving to a Medicaid fee-for-service system. And what that means is that we're going to be providing services, as Rob elaborated on, and billing Medicaid for those services. The challenge to us has been, as I've had many conversations with many people in this room, is understanding our own cost of services. So you've got to hear so far, and you'll hear after me from a lot of our program directors, the individuals who are responsible for providing quality services that really meet the needs of all of our clients, and how we provide them and how we want to provide them. My role for the last couple of months and for the foreseeable future is going to be understanding what the costs are to provide those services. So, as I mentioned, the DDD issue is that we currently have a contract with DDD, and we're going to lose that contract and have to bill for services directly through Medicaid. And by billing directly through Medicaid, we need to understand what that cost difference will be, the analysis between what we're currently receiving in our contract versus what we're going to get when we have to bill Medicaid fee-for-service. On the other end, and by the way, the support that we receive from DDD is about 45% of our budget. The other side of our budget is, private funding, donations, and tuition that we collect from our families who are receiving services here. The way it's worked for a number of years, so long as I've been here, and probably since they created a system about 25 years ago, is everyone pays a level of service. You could be an outline A, outline B, whatever level of service you were put on here meant that you paid us money every month as it was your tuition for the month, and if you were living in a residence, it was a higher fee. If you were living in one of the shared housing, it was a separate fee for the houses as well. And we collected money not fully understanding what the revenue we were collecting was going to offset in terms of expenses. It seemed to work for a number of years, but this reality of fee-for-service that we're going to move into has really forced JESPY to look at our own cost analysis, our own cost of services, and identify what clients are benefiting from, what clients are utilizing, the programs that we offer that have the highest impact and are really yielding the highest revenue on those services, and what's not working, and where we're losing money. Because as Audrey really started this presentation off, it really is about sustainability. We have a fantastic program, as you've heard, and you'll continue to hear about the wonderful things that we have here for almost 40 years. And we'd like for it to continue, but in order for it to continue, we have to really focus on the sustainability, specifically understanding our financial infrastructure and what it costs us to do business in this day and age. So over the next couple of months, as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at every client services. As Rob mentioned, we're going to be doing annual reviews of all of our clients and really understanding what utilization our clients have of the services we offer and assessing a fee for those services. As everyone knows, we offer a variety of services in many different departments, and those departments each have their own cost centers associated with them, for whether it's maintenance on that department, whether it's the usage of vans or buildings, everyone here understands how a budget works, so I don't need to explain it, but every department has its own cost-centered budget, and the clients that are benefiting and utilizing the services in that department, they have to pay their fee for those services. A lot of it's covered by DDD now, a lot of it will be covered by Medicaid fee-for-service, but internally, before we move forward, we need to understand our own cost of services. So in the coming months, we will be identifying what each hourly cost of service is, the utilization of every client in those departments, and creating tier levels, very similar to what DDD has done. And clients will be assessed a tier, and in that tier, we'll say you're getting 2 to 4 hours of services in this department, a real program that identifies what our clients are utilizing and what the true cost of those services are. So that will be forthcoming along with a contract that the families are going to receive, so spelling out what those services are, along with a code of conduct that will be coming out with the expectation of the families and the clients, the staff, everyone involved to make it work for the agency in the future. Again, I want to thank you all for being here. This is the first time we've done this, I think, in my 14 years here, probably much longer. We owe a great debt of gratitude to our executive director, Audrey Winkler. For better or worse, she decided to stay on. And I think it took a lot of courage, knowing that but I think what really kept her here and what keeps us all here on a day-to-day basis is really knowing that we have a fantastic program. We have a tremendous gratitude, as Rosalie mentioned, to this community. We're a community we built a community for our clients for almost 40 years. So together we're going to even make it stronger, hopefully for another 40. Raymond,
Thank you. How's my voice back there? Everybody, my voice tends to travel. Everybody, all right. Let's see. So I'm thinking passion. I'm thinking compassion. I'm thinking commitment. I'm thinking results. Those are key ingredients for the clients here come into recreation, and it defines, in a sense, what recreation is. Think of the word, recreation. An individual coming here, being told for many years, no you can't, and then finding, oh yes we can. I want to talk about recreation. After 18 years of employment at JESPY, I still get excited about the recreation program. There are many reasons for this, but the primary one is that I consider recreation to be the gateway into this bigger world we call JESPY Nation. Whereas many clients may be initially overwhelmed with the prospects of getting a job, living independently, or meeting daily demands, whether it be clinical or DLS, JESPY Recreation has long been an area that appeals to the personal passion of a client and causes little, if any, apprehension. Whether the interest is in our away trips like paper mill, our on-site activities like dances, or the athletic program, recreation always offers the bait. It's exciting to see a client come into the program of recreation and come in contact with former friends, students, or peers, and begin to wonder, what? Joe has a job? Say what? Sue is living alone? You gotta be kidding me. Bill is learning a trade with the maintenance company department? Well, if they can do it, I can do it too. Thus, the trap has been sprung, and the initial thoughts of entering the complete world known as JESPY Nation has begun, so I remain excited, inspired, and honored to see the many lives that are changed via coming into contact with the JESPY Recreation Department. As a matter of fact, as I look around in the audience, I see many of those staff members who had their initial introduction into JESPY via the recreation program. I know many of you love metrics. And in recreation, our numbers continue to grow. as does our expenses. A little plug for the next fundraiser that Audrey was alluding to at the beginning. In terms of metrics, the athletic program has shown major growth over the years. In 1988, JESPY House offered 16 sports that serviced 70 clients. Today, JESPY offers 10 team sports that service over 174 athletes. And if you think that's good, we are currently the largest Special Olympics athletic program in all of Essex County. 2 years ago, in spite of my love for our former hockey team, the JESPY clients voted in volleyball and golf as a new sport. I hated to see floor hockey go. But one thing I've learned is the clients here can do a far better job telling me what they want than I can do telling them what I think they need. As a result, we lost a floor hockey team consisting of 13 players, but gained a golf and volleyball team comprised of a total of 30 athletes, which turns to be, of course, if your arithmetic is pretty good, better than mine, an increase of 17 athletes. This is an instance where the clients certainly knew what was best, and as a result are now privileged to play at a prestigious golf course thanks to one of our generous donors here at JESPY. With regard to the recreation program, I've said it to many parents when you first come in, I say it to the clients when you come in, that I believe that recreation is like the lottery. You gotta be in it to win it. It's like school. You gotta show up to grow up. It's like a little blind faith. You just gotta keep on searching, keep coming back, and you'll get better here, and you'll get better here. JESPY recreation is so much more, though, than just sports. And to talk about the other changes we plan for the future, I give you our newest addition. She's talented, creative, she's bright. She's our new assistant recreation supervisor, Ms. Shaynon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaynon Remillard. I'm not quite the public speaker that Wayne is, so please bear with me. I'm the new recreation assistant supervisor. I've been here for about a month, and really I've been focusing on getting to know the clients and really hear what they want to happen in our future for our program. As a result of conversations with clients and staff, one of my primary projects has been to completely update our cafe space, which if you're not sure is this room right here. If you look around, it can be a little blah in some places, so we have asked the clients what they want to see that will really improve their time here. They've asked for a reading area with books and newspapers and magazines that we're going to put right over there. In our back space over there, we're going to have a relaxation area so that clients can come in and work on coping skills with stress and anxiety. We also want to add a gaming and crafting area full of supplies and materials for clients to be able to come in and use independently or with our staff if they want. As far as our programs that we offer in the cafe, in November, we're going to be rolling out an activity calendar that has more than double the amount of groups that we've ever offered in the past. All of these groups, all of these new groups are based on client requests, things that they want to see and or skills that they want to work on. So we're adding things like cooking groups where they can work on learning recipes that they can make independently at home after they learn them here. They've asked for nutrition and health reviews so that they can learn about the different food groups and how they can apply that to their day. And they also just ask for things that are fun. You know, we want more karaoke groups, we want more cultural events. But overall, they really want to be able to work on things that they can apply to their life outside of JESPY as well as the groups here. As far as, oh no, I'm sorry. Also, overall, we want to add more updated technology to the room. So we want the clients to be able to have access to gaming consoles, tablets, hopefully a smart board. All of these things really give clients access to information They also allow them to work on things such as memory, task analysis, sequencing. They work on fine and gross motor skills. Really, the benefits are endless. Also, we want to, actually, overall, this is a really big goal we're working on, and it's going to take a lot of time, and there's going to be a lot of changes. And of course, we have a wish list if anyone's interested in contributing. But your assistance aside, really what we want to create here is an engaging and empowering atmosphere with staff that have the skills and the resources to not only improve a client's day when they come in, but really improve their overall quality of life. So that's my spiel. Thanks for your time and attention, and hopefully in the near future you'll be seeing all the improvements.
Good afternoon. My name is Cratz. I am the maintenance supervisor for the past 4 months, but I've been associated with JESPY for about 20 years. Brief rundown on the maintenance department. The department now manages all 9 buildings, combining the shared housing with the residence and the administration buildings. We have decreased the staff by 1 full-time person and 1 part-time person. This has saved payroll over 40 hours per week, and at the same time, I am told by many people in this room, we have greatly improved the service. There are 2 important ways to ensure effective maintenance department. The first is to ensure that all JESPY buildings are safe, clean, and a pleasant environment in which to live and work. We work on this every day. An example of this is I gladly took over managing the housekeeping. We had 3 different services. I dismissed one of the services and in turn lowered our monthly cost and improve the cleanliness of the buildings. The second way to ensure an effective rollout is to control spending. As you're aware of, the maintenance department is not an income-producing department. We're a cost center. Having said that, I do use JESPY's funds and your money as if it were my very own. We are very conscious of how the funds are spent, and we ensure that we allocate our resources properly. We operate aggressively to keep the costs down wherever we can. To help achieve this goal, I have reviewed our vendors and contract for services. We've canceled some and put out a bunch for services for bid. Additionally, we look to recycle whenever we can, such as things as office furniture, computer equipment, and the like. Finally, we have started to include clients as JESPY employees in projects that the maintenance department takes on. These employees are part of the work readiness, employment, and engagement team, and are learning skills by hands-on approach. The training includes such skills as painting, wall repair, light carpentry, minor renovations, and finish work. We have a whole host of other projects for them to help down the line. Thank you for your time, and thanks. I'd like to introduce our health rock, Muriel.
I don't think so. Okay, I'm Muriel Bowness. I've been here for 16 years. When I came, they didn't have a place for me and they didn't know what I was going to do. And recently the same thing happened. I got moved. Moved over to JESPY too. It's a thoughtful move though. The agency has always functioned as a case management model, and the case management services are all located at JESPY too. So I moved over there to be part of that model. When I first came, since the role was not defined, we had to explore and think about things. I always worked very closely with case managers. I don't really take over for them, nor do I become a medical case manager. It's kind of an interim according to need. case managers ask me to help them out with their overwhelming load of medical appointments in the beginning. I realized very quickly that I needed to do more than just be handed a note and say, go take Sarah over to the Dr. So-and-so. I needed an introduction to the client. I needed a little history about why we were going to this particular appointment. I needed some more information about what was the underlying cause, the reason for the referral, and your past and a past medical history, perhaps. Some idea about how and where the client lived, what they did on their own to support themselves, to manage their daily routine. And the case manager was actually the person that knew all these things, had all the information, but they hadn't identified that this was part of what the information you take to an appointment for testing, for some sort of medical evaluation. So in the beginning, I started by driving clients to those appointments. It meant I got to meet them ahead of time, and I got to set up a little plan of when we're going to go, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, what you have to bring. And then driving them, they were kind of a captive audience where I grilled them on the kinds of things you're asked when you first sit down in an office, you know, those endless forms that you fill out 4 times and they ask you the same thing over and over. And I asked them a lot of those questions that were pertinent to whatever their problem was. By the time we actually got to the doctors, to having that conversation with the doctor when they asked me those questions for the last time, the client had been asked those questions 3 or 4 times over maybe a week, because I see them ahead of time, we have an appointment, we do a little driving, all that stuff. And they had a time to be clear about what the question meant, to understand how it fit together with the problem solving. And they also had not just immediately responded with a yes or no to something that they never thought about. They had some time to think about it. So they were better patients once they got to the physician's office. When I get to an office, I usually start by very subtly passing out my JESPY card, just sliding it over to the receptionist and say, can you just put this in the card? It opens many doors, just that card. Because there are accommodations that you need in the doctor's office, testing site, even in full medical buildings. They're not always that accessible. People aren't always that accessible. And that little card has helped many, many times. On the other hand, that little card that talks about JESPY House here in South Orange, in the mind of the person who's making a healthcare plan to take home with you, envisions this giant house in South Orange with 200 people living in it, and 24/7, and doesn't understand why you don't, you can't say at 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody will remind me that they're going to take your medicine. So it's a mixed bag. Over the years, there have been many very special moments that I've gotten to share with clients and with staff. HIPAA kind of protects some of those details of the special moments, but the time invested, the time teaching, the determination and resources of the staff and the client has shown me times when a client is able to test his blood on his own for the first time. Someone who's able to inject themselves with insulin despite being afraid of needles. Can manage complicated wound care on their own. Learns how to use eye drops. Makes prescribed dietary choices part of their lifestyle. Or any other DLS activity that the person now manages independently in the management of a disease or an illness or just age. I hope you see the benefit to this kind of support here at JESPY. Clients, staff, and JESPY as a whole seem to appreciate health information, advice, planning, and the support from the healthcare provider. Going forward, I do see many challenges for healthcare delivery under the model that the state is setting up. And there are solutions to some of those problems. And that's really why we're here today, to see what the challenges are and to discuss the ways that we can provide for solutions in the future. Again, I'm a cost center, not a revenue maker in the agency. Okay, and I think Audrey's going to handle when we get to questions. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rampersant, and I am one of 2 supervisors for the Read department, so work readiness and employment engagement. So one of the biggest things with our department is jobs. Everyone wants a job. So what is new in our department? So what is new is the way that we look at finding work for our clients. One of the things we look for is just simply the approach. Every client here at JESPY that has the will and the want to work should be able to work. We are accessing a larger pool of clients, accessing some of the clients from the day program, some of which have never had the opportunity or even asked if they wanted to work or volunteer. We are partnering with the maintenance department with some of our clients who are working on 102 Prospect. And overall, it's just a new way of looking at finding jobs. Part of what we do is putting clients in a training site or a T site. They were known before as enclaves. So if a client isn't quite ready for paid employment and they don't have all of the aspects of being able to compete out there in the big wide world of jobs, they will work in a T site. We have multiple T sites. So in the past, clients were in an enclave or training site and they would sit, and they would sit, and they would sit. Now, because of the new relationships that we formed, clients will be on a track. So they will spend a lot of a period of time in a T site, and they'll rotate. And they'll work on different aspects and different skill sets in order to prepare them for paid work. Once they've gone through an assessment process, and we see that they're ready for paid work, they will move on to job development. In the job development process, we look at the skills needed to find paid work. So interview prep, going on interviews, being able to discuss your past with an employer. One of the biggest things that I think in job development that's important for everyone here to know is being an active participant. So although yes, you will be looking for work and you're applying for jobs with your coordinator, which used to be called the job developer, now we have coordinators. Your coordinator is there to help with the job development process, but you need to be an active participant. The client should be expected to not just come to a meeting with their coordinator and just sit, just wait. They're there to put some input into what they want to do. We're not here to force any client to do anything. We're not here to tell a client, this is where you need to work. You should be able, the client should be able to say, you know what, I'd like to work at Walgreens or CVS and do what they want to do with our support. If a client has already worked in the past, because some of the parents have asked us, okay, well, let's say my son or daughter they're ready for work. They don't want to go through a training site. They don't want to volunteer. Yes, they can go straight to the job development phase. And we are here to support them as always. I'm going to pass it along to my colleague, Robert Slater.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robert Slater, co-supervisor in the Read department.
We can't hear you, Robert.
Hello? Good? Good? Hi, Allison. Hi.
Hi, Robert.
Hello, everyone. All right. I supervise with Michelle in the Reed Department, Work Readiness, Engagement, and Employment. We began mid-August after our former leaders left. Since then, we made old and new connections that are helping us use their establishments for both employment and training sites, which we now call T-sites for short. Atlantic Home Care, New Eyes for the Needy, are just a few examples of sites that offer and assist us with training ranging from office work, patient care, shipping and packing, various other things. We also have a pamphlet over there when we're finished that you guys can check out. It labels a few other places that we work with. We're also in pre-development of our own on-site training in which we will focus on the areas missed by our current T-sites. Our sites, they can offer things like working on the register, packing, which we're going to be working with the cultural department, where we're going to be shipping items from JESPY to your home, similar to like an Amazon. So we'll have our own JESPY Amazon. We also have reconstructed the way T-sites operate, whereas in the past, what we call volunteer sites would simply just house our clients and mainly just we would provide them with services for free to their establishment without really offering training. So they got kind of free work. And we got nothing out of it. We didn't really train our guys. We just kind of set them there, gave free work to other companies with nothing in return. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to use a rotating system that will offer training opportunities, allowing our coaches, our re-coordinators to observe and find the strengths and weaknesses needed to further advance a client to be ready for competitive employment. So because you're in a T-site doesn't mean that that's where you're going to be stuck. From now on, you're going to go to that site, you're going to learn something, and if the job coordinator sees that, oh, he's ready for something else, we will then either move you to a paid employment or we can train you in somewhere else. But you wouldn't just stay at a nursing home for 6 months or working at our New Eyes for the Needy packaging glasses. You will move from one place to the next to learn various amounts of training. Because these jobs now, in the past, I've been here about 20 years or so. So let's say at Wendy's, you used to be able to just work a register, and that's all you were hired for. Now they want you to work the register. You got to clean the back. You might have to go and get on the fry machine, flip the burgers. And the same with places like Kmart. You're not just on the register. You have to go and do customer service. You may be called to do stock. You might be called to go out and bring the carts in. So we're trying to train our guys in all aspects and areas of working. Our reformation also will be more aggressive with our searches, and our coaches are receiving more training through workshops, both on-site and off-site. So in-house, we're also doing training for our coaches to better them and give them the abilities to know what jobs the clients should go to, how to train them at their sites, and how to further their knowledge and get them ready for employment. The Reed Department also is starting to work with the day program. With Erika, we're going to be pulling more people out of the day program. We're not just going to focus on clients that we see and that come to us, because the day program also brings in people from the community, as she said, and we're going to be working with them also. Recently, we placed 2 clients from the day program in different sites. One place was a guy I worked with him in a training site, and now he's in a nursing home working. He's a paid employee in Morristown. And when he first came here, didn't communicate with anyone. His parents didn't feel that he could work independently. After he worked in the training site, he gained that independence, and I worked with Erika and Stephanie at the time, and we were able to get him paid employment. So we're going to be doing that. And like I said, we're going to be working with the cultural arts program. So, and we also are going to, with our coaches, are going to work more with case managers. So it won't be just we're worried about what's happening at the job, because sometimes there are things that are happening in the person's personal life that can affect them at the job. So if we don't coordinate and work with the case manager, the daily living skills person, the psychiatrist, psychologist, our therapist department, we won't know how to rectify certain issues at the job. So we're going to work all together as one unit. So in all, Reed Department, in conjunction with other departments, will aid in the future advancement of the JESPY family. Introducing Pat Ruggerio.
I'm Pat Ruggerio, the manager of the Supervised Apartments program, which is more familiarly known as the Residence or JESPY 1. The Residence is an apartment building owned by JESPY. It's the original JESPY building and where the agency began close to 40 years ago. While the agency has significantly grown over the years, the Residence has survived floods and fire, yet continues to thrive. Thank God we don't have any floods anymore. It's often the beginning of independence for many people who otherwise might not get the chance to live independently. The building consists of 4 client apartments, and each apartment is a home for 3 to 5 residents. Staff has offices on the first floor and provides 24-hour services and support all year long. A house parent has an apartment on the first floor and is available during the overnight hours to provide support as needed. The staff also provides support to the out-client population, such as medication supervision and crisis intervention. It's important to state that the Residence is not a group home, but rather an independent living program. In group homes, clients generally have less freedom and staff does more for the client. At the Residence, clients are adults and are treated as such. They are in charge of their lives, actions, and responsibilities. While we ask clients to let us know when they are going and where they're going and when they'll return, they may freely come and go. Our goal is to help the client achieve as much independence as possible to be able to live in the broader community with, or in some cases, without supports. A JESPY client may or may not begin in the Residence. Some may go directly to out-client status. Some may live at home with family members and receive services. Generally, a client lives in the Residence for 2 to 4 years, although some have left much sooner and some have stayed longer. While in the Residence, each client is assigned a case manager and daily living skills person. Staff tries to help clients learn or enhance their daily living skills, such as cooking, menu planning, shopping, laundry maintenance, and cleaning. We work with the resident on money management, social skills, and decision making. We will connect them with other services, which might include entitlements, doctors, therapists, work, and recreation. Services are delivered both individually and in groups. When clients have demonstrated the ability to do basic living skills, work well with staff and peers, and probably most importantly, when we feel they will be safe to live in the community, they transition to supported living, the outline program. I just started my 19th year at JESPY, the last 15 and a half in the Residence. Over the last 15 years, 136 clients have come through the program. 74 clients have successfully transitioned to out-client or shared housing. 26 clients are now living independently in and outside of New Jersey without any services. One client who came from an abusive home and relied heavily on staff for just about everything now thrives in our out-client program, working, managing their own finances, and recently got engaged. I'll conclude with what an ex-resident recently said to me. A person calls me maybe once or twice a year, lives in another state now, working, married, and has a child. The person said, and I quote, "I can't believe all these things that have happened to me. I would not have gotten where I am without the support from JESPY. I went to 7 other programs before JESPY. JESPY gave me the confidence to branch out and live a life that many people tried to say I could never have." And he laughed and said, "I am forever grateful to you and the rest of the staff." Now I introduce Jasinski from Shared House.
Hi, I'm Lisa Jasinski, and I'm from the Shared Housing Department. First, I'd like to thank all the families, but mostly the clients, for allowing me to be a part of your lives. You have given me so much more than I could ever give you. On March 17, 1998, JESPY, through the generosity of the Laurie Foundation, opened our first shared house. The program provided a home-like setting for 6 individuals. Clients enjoy meals, share household responsibilities under the guidance of a house parent, house manager, and BLS counselors. Since then, we've added 4 more homes, 2 of which are parent-owned. this family model has proven to be a success. I would like to tell you about two men who met in the early 70s, Saul and Jimmy. Their names have been changed to protect their privacy. They met in a workshop and developed a deep friendship. Saul was from an affluent family who lived in Upper Montclair. His father manufactured undergarments. Jimmy's family was from Irvington. His parents worked in a family. In the late 70s, Jimmy had to leave that workshop to help out with family obligations. His dad had died and his mother's health was declining. Saul left the workshop and joined an agency called JESPY. He became employed at Daughters of Israel, working in the laundry room. Through the guidance of JESPY, he found new friends, learned new skills, and gained his independence. Life was good. In 1996, Jimmy's mom passed away, and his cousin struggled to find a loving setting for Jimmy. She was introduced to JESPY and knew it would be a perfect fit. Once again, Jimmy and Saul rekindled their friendship. They ended up being chosen to live at the Laurie House. Jimmy wanted to be just like Saul. He enjoyed the stories about Daughters of Israel, and he wished he could work with Saul. This friendship grew until Saul was diagnosed with cancer. Jimmy, along with the staff, the clients, helped Saul through this difficult time. He ended up going to Daughters of Israel, and with the support of his JESPY family, he passed away knowing how much he was loved. Jimmy now works in Daughters of Israel in the position that Saul held. This is just one of our stories. 25% of our clients are over 50. We are now faced with the challenges of continuing their quality of life while they are aging in place. In the state of New Jersey, aging in place programs for people with developmental disabilities are far and few between. We want our clients who have made their homes in this JESPY community to have the choice to stay here in a community that has developed and supported them. Currently, none of our shared homes are handicap accessible. Together, we need to look at all options, whether that be modifying current living situations and or purchasing new properties. These help us create the next exciting chapter in your loved ones' lives. Thank you.
Hello?
Hi, everybody. All right, guys, don't act up.
We will. It brings me great pleasure and honor to be speaking with all of you this afternoon. For those of you who do not know me, I am the coordinator for the Cultural Arts Department. In 2007, two clients approached me and asked me if the Outline Department could create a poetry and photography group. Without hesitation, I pitched the idea to my supervisors, Carol Endo and Tara Roberts. They agreed. The clients have expressed to me the difficulties and hardships they have faced throughout their lives, especially during their teenage to early adult years, trying to find themselves and a place to fit in the world. Aware that many clients do not substantially benefit from traditional teaching and training strategies that their past quote-unquote failures with these methods have served to diminish their sense of self-esteem. Then they got me. JESPY expanded its programming by creating the cultural arts. JESPY has seen how rich Wayne Grant's recreation program achieved success by providing an environment for clients to develop athletic skills, learn to work as members of a team, achieve success, and build confidence. Many clients, however, do not enjoy sports, but had numerous other interests, which fell into what we broadly define as the cultural arts.
JESPY thought that tapping into these interests might produce the same personal results we were seeing in our recreation department with Wayne and all of you guys kicking butt. And it has. Thanks to the parents with us today who believe their children's ideas and in the arts program, with their generous contributions and volunteering their time and expertise, we were able to add new programs and be where we are today. The Cultural Arts Program offers JESPY clients opportunities to engage in a variety of activities, including art, music, dance, meditation, photography, creative writing, cooking, knitting, and we also collaborate with Grassroots and Arts Unbound through the DAY program. Some of their stuff is up here, and we're going to be having a show, a poetry show coming up December 17th. Through these modalities, clients discover hidden talents, explore alternative ways to communicate their thoughts and emotions, and they have learned new skills. They've improved their abilities to focus on tasks and maintain attention to them. Clients have also grown in their feelings of self-esteem and self-worth. Through JESPY sponsor and community sponsor art shows and performances like the South Orange Maplewood Artist Tour and the collaboration of the Judy Schechner Fund, Grassroots, Arts Unbound, and the DCC, clients display and sell their works and talents, reaping the praise that was absent during their school years. Each year, the Cultural Arts Program has raised funds to cover the expenses of its activities. We try to expand our offerings each year because the program's popularity has grown. Currently, more than 100 clients participate in at least one cultural arts activity each year, whether supporting the shows or buying products made by their peers. It is truly an honor to be presenting today, because those of you in this room who know me know that this is a moment we have worked hard for. And what I mean by we, I speak of the clients and supporters who have long awaited for the cultural arts to be recognized as a department. So I want to take a minute to give a shout out to the Client Council for speaking up and getting what they wanted. I know that we have to share success stories today, but the Cultural Arts Department being suggested, named, and its programs created by the clients to meet their needs is a success story in its own. So really. Of how a group of clients who wanted more than sports put their mind, dedication, and commitment to see something they wanted come into fruition. I would like to thank Audrey, really guys. She's also now going to be my cultural arts supervisor, so she wears two hats, and we're going to create this cultural arts department to be something that will be imaginable. So I really would like to thank Audrey for believing in this agency and stepping down as a board member, juggling her company and teaching job to take us on. We all know we can be a difficult bunch in here. I know that some of you in this room may feel lost, confused, and may wonder what the future of JESPY is. But I would like you all to take a look around in this room. We are the future of JESPY. Each one of us in this room make up a part of this agency. The future starts here today. I would like us all to commit to the future of JESPY. Like Audrey and most of my peers mentioned earlier in their speech, participate and host a weekend of 100 celebration, or commit to our long or short-term goals. If that doesn't call to you, then send a generous donation or invest in our endowment. The bottom line is we have to think and prepare ahead. I began working here at the age of 24, fresh out of college, just like many clients, and now we are all aging together. We must invest in our future now. We can fight, divide, and assume among ourselves, but at the end of the day, we need to unite like never before and help create a new culture at JESPY. That is, and what is going to cost each of us is to put away our differences, opinion, grudges, and personal agendas aside. We must focus on the real issues. Our clients, young and aging, their future, and how this agency can provide the staff and its clients with the right tools, skills, technology, training, and emotional support to deal with the changes in the outside world. Instead of trying to fix part of the agency, why not ask ourselves and commit today as a whole to save and promote the future of JESPY? Staff, clients, new and old. Thank you, and I hope you guys. Oh, you want it? Sorry, I have such a big mouth. No.
That's a tough act to follow. Thank you, everyone. For those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm Ilene Cratz, and I'm president of the board of directors at JESPY House. What I'm going to do for the next few minutes is tell you just a bit about myself, and then I'm going to tell you about some new legislation that's been passed that you may not know about. That affects all of our clients, and then talk a little bit about our board and a couple of words about our future. So my background is actually as a speech pathologist, and I've worked in nonprofits for over 35 years with expertise in operations and management and fundraising and board development. Currently I work at Kessler Foundation, and I give away money. I'm responsible for giving away money to programs that support employment for people with disabilities, both in New Jersey and nationally. I speak a lot on disability issues. I speak on social enterprise businesses for people with disabilities. I work with local and state governments. I work with national and local disability organizations as well. I've been a JESPY board member for about 9 years. I've been lucky enough to be board president for 3.5 years. My son was part of the JESPY family for 3 years until he died suddenly. Another fun little known fact is that Frank Bresnick and I went to the same Hebrew day school. We both grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, and when I finally connected back with JESPY, I probably hadn't seen him in 30 years. So let me just tell you a little bit about this government legislation. So back in 2014, President Obama signed into law something called ABLE accounts, which stand for Achieving Better Life Experience. And it's taken a while to get the rules all straightened out and regulations, but people with disabilities are finally benefiting. The idea behind ABLE accounts was to help people with disabilities save money. And as many of you know, if you collect Social Security or other public benefits, you can only have $2,000 in an account outside of your home, which means it's hard to buy a car, it's hard to save for a house, it's hard to buy a computer or do other things you like to do when we all save our money. So saving and managing money is one way that people become self-sufficient and gain independence. So the ABLE Act was established for individuals who have been identified as having a disability before age 26. Money saved in ABLE accounts can be used for education, for housing, for transportation, for healthcare expenses, financial management, administrative expenses, and also to supplement maybe what parents are paying with rent for their current apartment. So the total annual contributions, which is a really big distance before, it's $14,000, and a person can save up to $100,000 over the years without it affecting any of their Social Security. So it really is major legislation. ABLE accounts will be available in every state. Right now they're in Nebraska, Tennessee, Ohio, and Florida. And more importantly, you don't have to be a resident of that state to open an ABLE account on behalf of someone else. I have flyers on the table that list website and more information in detail for all of you to have. But we thought it was really important as we're talking about future and sustainability to talk about this fairly new legislation. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about what's the board role in JESPY. I get that asked all the time. So you probably know that every not-for-profit organization is governed by rules and regulations, and those are called bylaws. And the board of trustees at nonprofit organizations are usually volunteers, and so we're not paid. And we oversee the governance of a nonprofit, and for us, that's our JESPY family. The bylaws, which are really a roadmap and outline the way that board members serve and are appointed, and every nonprofit has these bylaws. Open meeting laws do not apply to nonprofit organizations, even if organizations get government funds. So what that means is the community cannot attend board meetings unless they're invited. But some organizations have annual meetings where it's open to the community, and that's something we're now considering at JESPY, that perhaps one time a year we'd have an annual meeting where people would be invited. It would be an open board member. So there's three main responsibilities that a nonprofit board has: governance, leadership, and stewardship. So in technical terms, less technical terms, what does this really mean? It means we meet regularly, we have an agenda of meetings, we authorize all board bank accounts, the borrowing of money, major contracts. We use the bylaws and review them and make sure everybody's following the rules. We have an annual budget which we approve. We make specific plans to make sure there's sufficient income for the organization and that budget is balanced. We oversee all the required tax filings, for example, make sure everything's done on time. We set policy for the organization. We ensure compliance with laws. And more importantly, we're actually the boss of the executive director. So we work to hire, support, evaluate, and even terminate, if necessary, the executive director. We evaluate progress towards program goals, towards financial goals, and we also support the organization in its fundraising efforts. So these are the basic responsibilities of boards. So legally, boards make decisions on behalf of the organization. Good board governance is very collaborative. We have to understand the organization, the people it serves, the community. And that's what we're striving for as we move forward with JESPY. The catch is, the board can only act on what it knows. It's information that comes to the board that's filtered by senior management. A really good board is about strategy. It's not about the day-to-day running of an organization. We're here for the big picture, so to speak. There are many major accomplishments and activities that the board has undertaken since I've been president that I consider significant. JESPY had not had a long-term strategic plan or a long-term planning track to run on for 3 to 5 years ever in its existence. What this plan usually does is set direction and strategy for growth and its programs. So the board agreed to hire an external consultant about 4.5 years ago to begin this process. We decided to use a consultant to get a fresh perspective, a new set of eyes on all areas of the organization. Audrey was also involved with it as a board member at that time, and many board members and families were called by telephone and surveyed about JESPY. The consultant looked at records and processes in the organization, and the results were eye-opening. There were many management, staff, and other organizational issues, such as, especially you're all aware, lack of communication across the organization. This was the first time the board had heard about many of these issues. For example, we learned our bookkeeping methods were kept in cash. So for a $5 million organization, that means payments that were owed us were not really tracked, the same way they are with what's called the accrual method, when everything that's owed in an organization is tracked on paper, basically. And that can make a difference in your bottom line. The issues became so complex that the board decided we could not, at the time, develop a strategic plan. And instead, we took a broader view. We called it a strategic framework. And we took a view of how we could improve JESPY and its operations. And after those changes, we could then go back and look at a strategic plan. So after much discussion and careful analysis, the board came to a decision that a change in management was needed. This led to the hiring of a search firm and changing the senior leadership at JESPY. We're still in the midst of updating our accounting system, our bookkeeping systems, and Audrey's talked about our communication systems. We're going to have a new website. So everything is still really being developed and evaluated on the roles for our growth. Audrey used the word sustainability a number of times this afternoon. And as a board, we agree that JESPY is a critical crossroads in its life cycle. Let's be honest, JESPY has been using its successful history to coast along the past few years. We're beginning to see that with the infusion of new leadership and enthusiasm, JESPY is on the road again to be at the forefront of exciting programs for its clients and a great place to work. For that bright future to continue, our oversight is vital. First and foremost is a careful attention to improving service and program delivery for our clients. Operating effectively, managing our revenue and expenses, increasing our revenue to offset cuts from public contracts, increasing our parent participation and support, like for this weekend of 100 celebrations, which you'll continue to hear and hear more about as we move forward. Working together, eliminating the silos and the gaps between all parts of JESPY. We are one family, staff, families, board, volunteers, community, and we all have one goal, improving service and care for our clients. Your support, whether it's a financial contribution, a legacy gift, a bequest in your loved one's name to JESPY in the future, or volunteering your time and energy, clearly is an investment in our future. JESPY is all of us, clients, families, staff, board, volunteers, and community, and together we can impact and change lives. At this point, I'd like to turn the program back over to Audrey.